Hello everybody and welcome to the kitchen table for this week's midweek service. I know it's Thursday rather than Wednesday, but it's been a busy week. I hope you're doing okay. It's been such a tough time again, hasn't it? I was watching the queues of traffic through our town, everything in gridlock as people were desperate trying to fill up at the fuel station. And I was thinking, oh, don't panic. Do you really need to top up? How much fuel have you got left in your car? I was thinking as everybody was dashing. I know some people were running on empty, maybe on fumes, and desperate to be able to get to work or to take their children to schools or do whatever needs to be done in the daily things of life. But I bet in amongst there was quite a few that maybe had 3/4 of a tank and just liked to keep it up to the very top. Just like some people had cupboards full and overflowing with toilet roll when COVID first hit and everyone started to panic. Panic is a terrible thing. It's driven by fear, and fear really does limit us. Sometimes if we're in a difficult situation, then fear is good. It gives us the impetus to run if we need to, or to stand our ground, whatever it is, that adrenaline that is driven by fear. But if you let fear be the driving factor in your life, then it robs you of what might be in your life. For lots of us, this time has been so difficult. We've come through COVID, we're dealing with the fallout of Brexit, we've got shortages of lorry drivers, we've got empty shelves, we've got a sense of doom and foreboding hanging over the nation, or that's how it feels to me. I remember when I was 16, 17, I remember the winter of discontent. Do you remember that in 1979 when everything was going wrong and everyone was on strike and there was piles of rubbish that you couldn't get fuel? Everyone was feeling the effects of that difficult time. I remember that oppressive feeling. And it's feeling a bit like that now. People are worried. I think as I sit here today, I would ask you not to panic. I've got one don't panic, eat cake. I think I've got one in my kitchen. But don't panic and carry on is actually quite helpful in some ways, because panic changes the way we deal with things. It makes us a bit irrational. It makes us take decisions that aren't necessarily good decisions. So how can we find the strength to be calm, to be sensible, to be reasonable? What can we hang our hope on, if you like? There is always hope, and there is always something good going on, even through that dreadful COVID experience, and we are still losing people and we are still experiencing infections, but things have changed hugely compared to the numbers that we were facing last year, the losses that were just so huge. And every loss is painful, and I know that. But there is hope on the horizon. The vaccines have done an amazing job at preventing very serious illness when we catch COVID, for most of us. Hope is always there in every situation. In Melksham Anglican team last night, we were filled with hope, or actually on Tuesday night, we were filled with hope when we installed Charlie Thompson as our new rector. It's that life-giving energy that somebody new brings with them when they enter into a role and into a town. So Charlie and his wife Hannah and their son Fred bring new life and new hope and new ways of looking at our town through fresh eyes. But there's hope in many other ways too. How we help one another, whether it's about actually looking at our petrol tank and thinking, I don't need to queue for that because I've got half a tank and that'll get me far enough away. It'll get me to where I need to go, even in an emergency. Then trusting in that and thinking how that will help your neighbours who may be in a worse situation. The crisis that we find ourselves in with food on the shelves disappearing because of the things that they need to inject them with to keep them fresh. Maybe we all need to learn how to adapt, to think about what it is that is important in our lives and how we use the resources that we have. Maybe this is our opportunity to really think about the future generations, how we do things, what we eat, where we source it. You and I should maybe not panic, but learn. Although I have to admit, I have several clergy friends who think we might start the rumour that we are short of communion wafers, in the hope that we'll have 1,000 of you in our churches on Sunday. Do you think that would work? Shortage of communion wafers? Come to church! I jest. But let's not panic. Let's trust. For me, I find my trust in God. There's a passage that says, when you wait upon the Lord, you will find your strength. For me, I bring all my fears to God in prayer. To me, when I am panic-stricken, I bring my worries to God. And I know that when I place them in His hands, He holds them. And He holds me. I hope you find some peace in knowing that God is with you, even in the difficult times, in the hard days. And I hope that knowing that God is with you will cause you to fear less, to panic less, and to live life fully, just the way God intends you to. So brothers and sisters, let's help each other. Let's not panic and take care of one another. Bye for now.